Now, videos like this one are extremely helpful, especially if you're just getting started in your dividend investing journey. Not because you're watching some expert that knows exactly which dividend paying stocks and ETFs to buy, but instead you're watching someone that's invested well over $1 million of his own money over the last decade and now has a portfolio worth over $1.5 million, paying him over $110,000 per year in dividends, or around $9,200 per month. Now, I'm not the best investor of all time. I've made tons of mistakes, but I promise you, after the last 10 years of investing, I've learned a ton of what to do and not to do. And that's especially when it comes to picking the right and wrong dividend paying stocks and ETFs for a long-term portfolio. So in this video, what we're going to do is go over a very simple yet effective 8 ETF portfolio that I would build out knowing what I know now if I were starting over tomorrow with $25,000 to invest. This portfolio is sort of the outcome, the results of all the things I've learned. So I promise you're definitely going to take away something from this. So if you want to see what I would do if I started over tomorrow with $25,000 and I had to build out a very solid dividend portfolio, well, then make sure to stick around, drop a link down below, and let's get right into it. My A to Z dividend investing ebook has already helped countless dividend investors get started with their journey. And my custom dividend tracker, the one I use all the time on my videos, has also helped so many investors stay organized and has actually helped them see their dividend income grow. Well, today I have something even better for you guys. When you click the first link down below in my description and you grab my A to Z dividend investing ebook, today you're not only going to get the ebook, but you're also going to be getting the custom dividend tracker, which you can use to track your own dividend income ongoingly, get direct access to my personal email where you guys can email me any questions regarding dividend investing. You're also going to receive a link to view all of my holdings inside my 7-figure dividend portfolio and see all the positions I add and take away ongoingly. And you're going to get for absolutely free my brand new high yield dividend investing ebook, where I show you the power of maximizing some of these high yielding ETFs and teach you everything there is to know about that also. This is going to be your one shot to grab everything inside of one single bundle, but you got to move quick because I'm not going to offer this for long. Now, with all that, let's get back into the video. Now, my overall dividend investing strategy is pretty simple. I'm constantly attempting to build the perfect, the ultimate hybrid portfolio. This portfolio is going to be full of different names, stocks and ETFs that offer a ton of growth potential, names that are going to have the portfolio grow in value over time. My portfolio specifically has grown like crazy in value over time. A lot of investors always ask me, what do you do about NAV erosion, NAV decay in your long-term portfolio? And if you guys go through all my positions, you can see yourself that my portfolio has not decayed in price. It's paid me dividends, paid me more and more in dividends, but also has grown in value over time. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I don't necessarily only care about growth. I also care a ton about dividends. I also care a ton about dividend growth too. That's why I call it the ultimate hybrid portfolio. You see, I'm not only seeking to build a portfolio that's going to grow over time and build my net worth higher and higher, but I also want to get paid dividends and get paid more and more in dividends over time too. Now, into this portfolio, I'm also seeking some high income generation. I don't want the entire portfolio to be a high income generating machine that's going to decay over time, but I do want a portion of the portfolio to be generating a ton of high income, which then I can use to pay for things like bills, expenses, to help out family and friends, or whatever the case might be. Now, I'm also seeking to build a portfolio that's going to at least keep up with, if not beat, the total returns of the S&P 500. Now, I know this is quite a task to do. It's very hard to outperform the SPY, but that's why it's just a goal of mine. Now, lastly, I want the portfolio to be as tax-friendly as possible. Sure, a lot of us are going to end up holding on to some positions, maybe if you're buying things in a taxable brokerage account that aren't the most tax-friendly, but overall, I want the ultimate hybrid portfolio to be all of these specific things. Now, to go over the actual specific ETFs, number 1 of 8 is going to be VU, or the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. This is going to be a portion of the long-term portfolio, if of course I could go back in time, knowing what I know now. Now, this ETF specifically is going to sort of solve for more the growth end of the portfolio. Obviously, VU does still offer a dividend. It's very small with a 1.2% yield more or less, but VU, the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, which offers you exposure to 500 of the largest US companies, is going to offer the long-term portfolio a ton of upside, at least if we're going to see what VU has done historically. The next portion of the portfolio, number 2 of 8, is going to be SCHD. This ETF specifically is going to offer a decent amount of dividends, around 3.7% as of starting yield. But the cool thing about SHG is that this ETF has paid more and more in dividends over the last several years. Now, this is going to sort of fulfill the portion of the portfolio that's going to pay me more and more over time just by holding on to shares of it. Again, I would never only hold on to VU or only hold on SHG. Both of those two ETFs have very different goals and objectives, but this ETF would definitely also be within my dream hybrid portfolio if I were starting over. The next portion of the portfolio, number 3, would be DEVO, the Amplify CWP Enhanced Dividend Income ETF. DEVO offers higher income generation around 5% distribution rate to start, so you are getting a lot more cash flow with this one, but still Divo has grown over time. It's offered low beta exposure to some high quality names and does so pretty tax efficiently. The next name would be a little bit higher yielder, QDBO, which offers around a 12% distribution rate. So now we're getting into some higher and higher income generation. QDBO is seeking capital appreciation from growth oriented stocks, so you are getting exposure to some higher beta names, but still because they sell covered calls on individual names, you are going to receive a ton of income generation too, sort of a perfect hybrid ETF inside the perfect hybrid portfolio. Number 5 would have to be SPYI. This is going to be more on the high income generation side of things. 12% yield for this one, offering you S&P 500 exposure through a high income strategy, all while doing so very tax efficiently. SPYI, at least since inception, has paid very consistent distributions, has been very stable as far as NAV goes, one of my favorite ETFs across the entire markets. Number 6 would be the NEOS NASDAQ 100 high income ETF. We are going to be now getting some NASDAQ 100 exposure, but through a high income strategy. And because the NASDAQ 100 is relatively volatile, we're talking around a 14 or 15% distribution rate based off of this one. Now, the next two positions I would buy into are going to be ultra high yielding, but their underlines are something I definitely want exposure to, at least in a small fashion. So BTCI, the NEOS Bitcoin high income ETF, would have to make the cut for the portfolio. Having some Bitcoin exposure I think is smart, at least knowing what I know now moving forward, and having that exposure through a high income strategy can pay you like crazy for doing so. Now, last but not least, I would include MAGI, or the Magnificent 7 covered call ETF, an ETF that offers MAG 7 exposure through a high income strategy and offers you a ton in distributions. So that's a very simple yet effective 8 ETF ultimate hybrid portfolio that's going to offer everything right here in this list. I know it's sort of a lot to ask for to literally build a portfolio that offers growth, that offers dividends, that offers dividend growth, that also pays you a ton of income from day one, that also not only has the potential to stick with, if not beat, the S&P 500, at least in my opinion, and all while doing so pretty tax efficiently. But lastly, before I go, I have a question for you guys down below. If I were to ask you to build out a very small yet effective ultimate portfolio for a dividend investor, what are some ticker symbols you would have to include in it? Let me know down below in the comments. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like in it, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.